Hi. So last night, as I lay in bed for an hour, feeling extraordinary fear coursing through my body, I realized that maybe what I was feeling wasn't necessarily my own fear, but rather the fear of the collective, the fear of the world that we're living in right now. You know, this happens to be a great time of fear, the fear of COVID, the fear of getting too close to another person, the fear of what this new world is going to look like when we come back to it, the fear of safety of our loved ones. So given that fear is currently so pernicious, let's really examine it. I would say that all fear derives from the basic fear of dying, the losing of our physical body. So let's just use an audition as an example. I'm really scared to go in to meet this major cast and director for this movie. Why? Because, well, I'm afraid I won't get it. So what would happen if I don't get it? Well, I'm afraid I will never work again. If I never work again, I'll never have any money and I'll starve to death. So my ultimate fear is death. I'm afraid of going on this date. Well, what will happen if this person dislikes me? I'm afraid I'll be alone. What happens if I'm alone? Well, if I'm alone, I'll end up loveless and on the streets. And what happens if I'm in the streets? Well, if I'm in the streets, I'll get murdered and die, i.e., all fear can be traced back to the death of our bodies. But if you are not your anatomy, if you are not your body, but you are a spirit, a spiritual being having a human experience, and we're all here to learn and develop our souls, and to me, there's no greater soul grower than choosing to have the life of an artist, then remind yourself you're not a lone wave on the ocean, which crests and falls and dies, but you are the ocean itself manifesting as a wave. You are the enormity of life with a body. And should you forget that, then fear may set in. But remember, the oceans have contained all that was and all that will be. From Moses parting of the Red Sea, to Jesus walking on water, to Abraham Lincoln taking a dip, to our ancestors and ancestors' ancestors bathing and washing and swimming in the water. All that is contained in the ocean. Now, unfortunately, fear has an identical twin brother or sister, and that is called desperation. And we all know how sexy desperation can be. If you've ever been on a date either feeling desperate or being with someone who has a desperation to connect, you know it can be a little off-putting. And if you've ever talked to a casting director about someone walking in from that place of desperation, you know how it feels almost like a repulsion to them. So when you remind yourself who you truly are, fear, i.e. desperation, begins to disappear. You are a spirit and you have a body. I find one of the greatest ways to shift out of fear is I move from trying to fulfill my needs, i.e. I want this job, to exporting to how can I fulfill others' needs? How can I serve this project? How can my talents really assist these filmmakers in telling this story? When I'm able to come from a place of being of service, desperation and its evil twin, fear, begin to leave the house. You know, we're in a culture of acquisitions. How can I get this? How can I get that? If I only had this, I would be happy. But I find if you stop trying to acquire and focus on giving, you just may find yourself being happier and more fulfilled, which is a weird paradox because by giving you end up fulfilling your needs, but life is full of paradoxes. When you concert yourself with giving, fear begins to dissipate. Remember, waves coming from the ocean bring limitless creativity. We're drawing from all that was and all that ever will be. Shift from auditioning for this world and let this world audition for you. Thank you. Have a good week.